So when things were getting tight and this guy were kind of making some charges at you guys, what were you talking about in the huddle? What was kind of the vibe of the team at that point?
Just stopping the bleeding, because teams are going to go on runs, but we have to make sure that they're not doing things that we've scouted against. So, for example, Dana Evans was driving, we were overhelping, which is something we've been talking about. So trying to clean that stuff up, and just saying, like, something we always say is stop, score, stop. So making sure that we're locking in on that concept.
Yeah. And what do games like this do to prepare you guys for the playoff?
I mean, we wanted to approach this game as a playoff game. So for us to come in and get a tough road win like we did, it's important for us at this point in the season. Obviously, we're really close in the standings with Chicago as well. So I think just knowing what it takes to win close games, and, you know, like Fee said, they went on their run and then we had to stop the bleeding. And it's important that we know how to do that, because teams are always going to go on runs. Yeah. So I think it was a big step for us.
Yeah. And how do games like this kind of make you guys come together as a team, especially since you don't have a ton of experience in the postseason this team as it is?
Well, it gives us that experience. So these games are really good for us because when we get into the playoffs, every game is probably going to be like this. So to be able to push through in crunch time and to be able to stop the bleeding, I think is a lot of growth for our team, because a lot of teams shut down when that happens. They turn on each other and then it just keeps spiraling. So this was great practice for us in saying that teams are going to go on runs just like tonight, and we have to be able to adjust to that and come back.
So it's just about finding that way to stay calm and keep doing what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We'll go to Zoom, start with Frank, followed by Ken, and then Mitchell.
When you're having a game like this where you're just so on offensively and yet you have foul trouble, how do you kind of manage the game when you're, make sure you're still doing what you need to do offensively, but being careful?
Yeah, it's frustrating, obviously. I don't want to be on the bench because of fouls. It's the most frustrating thing. So just like you said, trying to be careful. And we scout the rest just like we scout the team. It kind of sucks that we have to do that, but we know that when certain refs call more fouls. So this game, we knew that certain refs call more offensive fouls. So I have to be more cognizant of that. And I have to know that if I'm trying to post up where I have an arm bar, that's going to be really risky. So just trying to stay away from that kind of behavior. And like I said, just kind of playing smart.
Just, I mean, when she goes out, it seemed like you had other people there to step up tonight. I mean, other people sort of answered the call.
Yeah, I mean, Nina came in and gave us great minutes off the bench. And, I think we had to play a few games without Fee, and that helped our team in situations like today where, she's not on the court. So what are we going to do? It involves a little more ball movement, a little more getting everyone involved. I think just from you don't have that player that you can just go to and know that she's going to score. So I think those couple games we had without her were probably good for us in that situation.
Thanks.
Ken?
Yeah, Sophie, you were on the bench at the end of the third quarter because of the fouls, and it kind of turned, I think it was a 12-point lead to a 4-point lead. But then you guys came out in the fourth quarter and I think you stopped them on 4 straight shots and scored 7 straight points. I mean, just talk about the swing from the end of the third into the fourth. What was the key to it, and what you were able to do there?
It was the mindset that we came in with. Again, we know that teams are going to go on runs. It's just you have to be able to stop the bleeding. You have to be able to recognize why they're doing that. And then on the other end, just having a really aggressive mindset that, okay, like we need to get a bucket on this possession. How are we going to do that? And making sure that we're being efficient. I thought we were really efficient tonight. So yeah, it's just coming in with that mindset that you have to get it done, and there's no other option but that.
It's interesting to me how a couple of players who played very few minutes tonight had such big impact. I think of Ariel Powers hitting that huge 3 to start the fourth quarter, and Rachel assisting on the first 3 baskets of the fourth quarter. Can you just talk about, I mean, you look at it and they played 2 and 3 minutes, but they had such a huge part of what happened tonight.
Yeah, I mean, our bench has been really good for us all year. And when they went on the run at the end of the third quarter, our bench was actually mostly the players on the court to start the fourth quarter, and they just came in and they did their jobs great. They got stops for us. they were able to give some of the starters a little bit of a rest, and they knocked down their shots, which is tough when you haven't played significant minutes into the game. So I think they just do a great job of playing their role and knowing what's needed.
And finally for Fee, I think you scored 11 straight points for your team at one point in the third quarter. I think the two of you scored the first 14 points of that quarter. But coach was joking that that Kayla just said all she was going to do is throw the ball to Fee. I mean, you were 10 of 18 tonight, and frankly, a few of those should have gone in. Some of those layups. I mean, did you just feel? I mean, are there nights when you just feel like you know, just give me the ball because I can score?
Yeah, and tonight I did feel like one of those nights. It feels good because I haven't been as efficient as I wanted to be. I really pride myself on being an efficient player. So when I go through droughts where I have to shoot more shots and they're not going in, it's really frustrating. So it felt good to have a night like tonight. And especially like you said, where I feel like if I have the ball, I'm going to make it. So it's always a confidence boost when that happens.
Thank you.
And last but not least, Mitchell.
Kind of feeding off of that, Fee, do you have, when it does come to moments like Kent mentioned, with scoring 11 straight points, do you have moments where maybe it's the feel for the game, the flow of the game, maybe it's something going into the game where you feel like you're ready to take over? Is there any indicator to you that when you need to take games over like that?
Sometimes I think I can feel like kind of what I said with Kent, like I can feel when I'm hot. And then also I can feel like kind of what I said earlier, when we need a bucket where I'm really locked in and I know that I have to score on this possession, or we as a team need to score on this possession. And even though it's frustrating when I'm not efficient, I have confidence when I have the ball that I'm going to get a good shot. And so, yeah, I just feel really locked into the zone, especially when we're in situations like that where the game is close and I know we need to get a stop and a score. So, yeah.
And then second question is for Jess. I guess, what is it like for you to kind of be in that bench role after coming back from your absence, but now being just inserted into that starting lineup? Is it any shift in mentality for you at all?
No, it's not a shift in mentality for me. I mean, I think I knew coming back from being out so long with the minute restriction that my role was probably going to be slightly different coming back initially, but just remaining confident in my abilities and knowing my teammates trust me when I'm out there. So going out and playing confident, but that doesn't really change whether I'm coming off the bench or starting.